Hello, and welcome to WarCrafters, a show about first-person shooters, real-time simulators, or role-playing games. All kinds of stuff. Today's show is June 22nd, 2024, Season 1, Episode 14. I am Mayor Watt, and there is the visualizer for the sentient AI.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to WarCrafters.
Today we're going to be talking about games like World of Warcraft, Prequel RPGs, Zero-G crashes and burns, a pirate hack and slash, open world games without combat, Ace Attorney to launch, Tales of the Shire, Pax Dei, forgot to pack in the reason to play, unusual video games, and first-time developer RPGs. Everything is powered by ohmTown.com, so go over and visit it while somebody eats cheese. Not Mayor Watt.
It's not Mayor Watt, are you sure?
It is not Mayor Watt that's eating cheese.
Is it the critters in ohmTown?
It's, I don't know, a viewer. There's somebody hanging out in cheese. Somebody hanging out in chat is eating cheese. Oh, I forgot. Doggone it, I did it again. I forgot to update the darn titles. I swear, I'm never going to get this right. Anyway, WarCrafters, Season 1, Episode 14. See, but then I put a little thing at the end of it. We'll get onto it. We'll get into it. It's gaming news. We're just going to say gaming news today. Update. All right. Okay, folks. Sorry about that. Mayor Watt is a slacker. Focus. I'm sorry. There's a mote of dust flying by, and I have to pay attention to it. First article's over, and I'm just going to jump right on through this. The first article's over on the WarCrafters channel, Best Games Like World of Warcraft. The article is over at GameRant, GameRant.com. Logan Sawyer and Mark Samet is the author of this. Released in 2004. I was a beta tester for World of Warcraft way back
That's quite a claim to fame.
Yeah. And then I relocated and had shut my account and then couldn't recover it. So I have a new one. I had a new one. And that account is seemingly older than most people on the internet. I feel old. Anyway, released in 2004, World of Warcraft brought new meaning to the massively multiplayer online role-playing game genre. Even about 20 years later, the game still boasts millions of active players. I'm one of the players. I wouldn't call myself active. So
right,
New
guess
World.
If you're not playing it anymore or not regularly, probably not.
I'm sporadically playing it. New World. So they have 16. I am a victim of these lists because this show will turn into a 5-hour show if I start tearing into this list. New World. I play it. It's fun. I don't know how to describe it any other way.
Player versus player?
It's a little of everything. So it is a blast. They just moved it over to console. I like it. It has an overwhelmingly negative rating right now on Steam. I'm not sure why.
Is that your overwhelmingly negative ASMR?
Yes. I don't know why. It says the number one rating, or the latest rating, after a person played 363.5 hours of this game. The TLDR says this game is in such bad disrepair that your character can be accidentally deleted and lost by Amazon and never recovered with no apparent rhyme or reason. Do not sink time into this game. It will break your heart.
Wow. Well, it doesn't necessarily sound like it was a bad game, but it sounds like they got invested in it and then had a bad problem.
Experience, yeah. Yeah, oh, and it's just going and going and I mean, there's a lot of bad reviews. There's 238,000 770 reviews and 88,000 87, I'll round down. 87,000. No, I'll be precise. 87,262 of them are negative. Yikes. Anyway, New World is number 16, and then Guild Wars 2 and Valheim, which is a blast. I would play Valheim. Valheim could be a forever game if it wasn't ultimately limited. Like there's only so much that you can do. And I am constantly attacked by dwarves.
And then are you dying and having to walk back to your location?
Yes. And I hate that. So I like cozy games. We're going to get to that as we go through this list here. Not this list, but like through our 10 articles. Destiny 2. I hold on a second. I think Destiny 2, yeah, it's free to play, but you like there's expansions, and those are where the juice, that's where they squeeze you for the juice. By the way, since this is going to be a long first article, if you do exclamation point and then for this, I think it's WC, yeah. Exclamation point WC is WarCrafters. That'll give you all of the articles that we're going to be talking about today. And then if you do exclamation point POD, it'll give you the podcasts. And if you do exclamation point show notes, that'll give you the show notes. So I do this at the beginning of all of the shows so that all of the articles are there and you can actually follow them. They're now part of the VOD, and you can follow all of the links. And if you don't want to do this with the VOD, then if you're listening to this, the show notes will be forever ensconced in the YouTube channel and the podcast itself. So download the podcast, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and I'll quote you verbatim as long as it isn't hostile. I mean, I'm a loving mayor. I don't like hostility. I'll ignore it. But anyway, Destiny 2. It's actually fun. I've been invited to play it and stuff like that, but I don't know. Mayor only has so much time. I love doing the news. It's very dynamic. It's new every day. A lot of games are grindy. So Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. It's the Reckoninger. Because how do you re-reckon? You reckon again?
I'm not sure. I don't even know how you reckon.
It's the Reckonist. It's number 12 on the list. Final Fantasy 14, which it's never the Final Fantasy. Because the Final Fantasy would have been the last fantasy.
I mean, we'll be at Final Fantasy 28 soon.
Is that another hint from the future? Divinity Original Sin 2.
They'll keep going.
Forever. Divinity Original Sin 2. Neverwinter, Xenoblade Chronicle games. I haven't played a lot of these. Grim Dawn I never played. Black Desert I played and put away. It's an MMORPG that has really cool graphics. RuneScape, that's kind of old school. It's from 2001. Apparently you can play it on iOS and Android now. But it has a massive following, RuneScape. Dragon Age Inquisition. They just came out with something new. Hold on a second. Dragon Age.
Oh, I think we featured that in another episode of WarCrafters.
Yeah, there's something. Let me. I thought that they just released something new. There's something new coming out.
They have a trailer for the Veilguard.
Veilguard, right? Is that what you said? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it. Anyway, yeah, so Dragon Age is still around. They call it an action RPG. Star Wars: The Old Republic. It says not only for Star Wars fans, but anything with a lightsaber is a win to me. Fable Trilogy. That actually is just returning now. If I recall correctly, there's something else Fable coming out. Yeah, there's like a remake.
Fable Anniversary?
Yeah, it says a new beginning for the legendary franchise, and it's a thing that's to be announced by Xbox Game Studios. And,
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, what I said was incorrect.
Yeah, that's an older one. But there's a whole new Fable coming out. Dun, dun, dun. And then Elder Scrolls Online, which it says weak start, strong follow-up. They actually just released Gold Road. And it is an actual blast. I love playing it. It's free except for the expansions, and so you have to pay a little bit of juice for those. Let me see how much the last one was. Elder Scrolls. I don't know why they say here that it costs money. The original, I thought it was free. Oh, you don't have to pay the subscription anymore. That's what it is. I'm sorry. You have to pay for the expansions, but you don't have to pay the monthly fee. They stopped that several years ago. But World of Warcraft, you have to pay for the expansions and the monthly fee, $15 a month, unless you pay 6 months or a year at a time. Yeah, it's pretty rough. But Elder Scrolls Online is a blast sim. I've got like 12 characters in Elder Scrolls Online or something like that. I can't remember the total number. Same thing with World of Warcraft, though. I'm kind of a sucker for character creation. All right, let's keep going, though, unless you want to talk about that more. Did you want to talk about that more?
No. Did you want to talk about your class or anything in WoW? Or
No. Because I have one of everything.
Okay.
Like, seriously, yeah. And a lot of them, I create characters so that they can basically be couriers for something somewhere else. Like they're in a town and they go and they do a task and then they mail the stuff to my other character. Okay. The next article is over in the WarCrafters channel. Best RPGs that are prequels. Some of the best reviewed RPGs of all time have tons of sequels, or are in fact a sequel to. For example, The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt is the third game in the series about Geralt. Throw a coin to your Witcher. There has yet to be any prequel games starring Geralt as a younger lad, but maybe there should be, and I say that that's Fable, but that's okay. That makes zero sense to anybody, including myself. So, Tales of Berseria. If Suicide Squad was a JRPG, and JRPG, for some people, that is kind of a derogatory statement, but Japanese RPG, it's a stylistic thing. Anyway, Tales of Berseria. It says like Final Fantasy, most of the Tales games take place in their own universe, except for the games which, with direct sequels like Tales of Xillia. Fans may not know about Tales of Berseria is a prequel to the Tales of Zestiria. I'm just going to move on.
That's going to be hard to keep track of.
Yeah, you need one of those murder boards, or the string boards. Can't tell one Zyria from another Zyria without a map. Assassin's Creed Origins. Back to the RPG drawing board. Yeah, a lot of people really love Assassin's Creed. I have it, but I don't play it all that often. Assassin's Creed Origins is the game set furthest back in the series, as it explains the origin of how the Assassin's Creed was born. It begins with Bayek, a peacekeeper within Egyptian society who eventually gets cast out during a conspiracy against his family and country. Dun dun dun. Then there's Hogwarts Legacy. Before Harry Potter, magic was raw. I don't even know what that means. Sounds very
dramatic.
It doesn't even mean, what does it mean? So, Hogwarts doesn't even make any sense. Plus, the dude was basically a bro. Anyway, it was an RPG that was begging to be made since the book series began in 1997. Every kid dreamed of becoming a witch or wizard, and Hogwarts Legacy was a step in the right direction. And players could live out the daily life of a student, but they could also explore the surrounding landscape from Hogsmeade to the Forbidden Forest. It showed that the series does not need Harry Potter. That's not true. The whole reason it exists is because of Harry Potter.
I think that's inaccurate, and I think that's shown by things like Fantastic Beasts, which are actually mentioned in here.
Yeah, to succeed even more so than the Fantastic Beasts films. Yeah, so Hogwarts Legacy allowed everybody to just dive into the world of Harry Potter, and it was very successful. They're doing some update to that, by the way, if I recall correctly.
To the show or to the
game
movies or the game?
To the game. But I'm trying to remember what it was. Hold on a second. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that they were doing something to it. Oh well, it's okay. We'll come back. We always report on the news anyways. So Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, the dark side is strong in this one. So these are the best RPGs, by the way. So just so that are prequels.
So Hogwarts Legacy is releasing some updates in the summer, but I don't know that it's coming out with a different version or anything.
Right. They're doing some, they're extending it in some way, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Hello, Seven Heavy Steel. Welcome to the show. Then there's Yakuza 0, Japan's 80s boom, and Kazuma's beginning doom. The Yakuza series was popular among a niche group of fans in the West, but Yakuza 0 was the game that brought the franchise to the forefront of gaming pop culture. It was an easy jumping on point as it took place decades before the game during the height of Japan in the 80s. It was an economic boom for the country. That also meant Yakuza was thriving too. So this is the prequel to the Yakuza series. And everybody loved the series. Great character development, great world building. Then Divinity Original Sin, Tactically Unbound, it says here. It's an RPG. So Larian Studios truly made it big with Baldur's Gate 3. They couldn't have gotten that hyped momentum if it wasn't for their two prequels in the Divinity series, which began in 2002. Divinity Original Sin was a prequel set hundreds of years before the original, giving the developers some breathing room, like BioWare got with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 though kind of set the bar, like just knocked it out of the park. But what was interesting is that I recently saw a graphic where people were outraged by something taking place 20 years earlier in a game, to the point where things were pulled off the shelves because it was adult in nature, and then Baldur's Gate hits the shelves and people are cheering on the rather adult very
it was
adult
celebrated
content.
Because of that content, I think.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to see this juxtaposition. And having been in that market back then, I found it really interesting what a change in direction the world has taken. But hey, what are you going to do? I mean, times change, and cultural relativism is really something that people need to distance themselves from and just take the moment at the moment and just make conscious decisions, responsible conscious decisions for you and your family. And you can talk it out with friends and family if you want to and stuff like that. But man, there's a lot of virulent discussions that are taking place out there about this kind of stuff. I guess I'll just leave it at that, because one person's acceptance is not necessarily, don't yuck other people's yum, I guess is what I'm saying. But if you want to be the change you want to see in the world, then do that too. But don't trample on other people. because a game like this is not trampling on you, not in the slightest. So anyway,
no, but it's interesting how people react so viscerally to things that are purely entertainment.
Yeah. But it's an interesting discussion, particularly for us here in ohmTown who focus on the discussion of science, technology, and society. And this is definitely a little bit of all of it. So let's keep going, though. The next article is over in the WarCrafters channel. 0G PvP shooter that sold 100,000 copies in a day is closing after a year, and the publisher blames the developer, and the developer blames them right back, and players just review bomb it.
Well, I mean, right? Point the finger at everybody else.
They did it. Boundary is a multiplayer space shooter where the pitch is simple, PvP and 0G. The game was announced in 2019 by developer Surgical Scalpels and would eventually launch in early access in April 2023, at which time PC gamers Tyler Wilde found it weirdly compelling take on the competitive FPS. Space is not really the ideal location for anything humans do, never mind tactical infantry battles, but it is quite a lot of fun. So players agreed to, despite an upfront cost of $25, Boundary managed to shift over 100,000 copies on the first day. So Rich Stanton put this article together. The deck statement says Boundary met its limits.
That's interesting, though, right?
Math joke.
What an up and down.
Yeah, so there were some demonstrations and trailers of this, and I thought that it was neat, but didn't really compel me because I didn't really like the idea of the mechanism of it, first-person shooter in space, multiple dimensions and stuff like that, as a first-person combat, whatever. So over the past few months, they say after careful consideration, Skystone has decided to relinquish the publishing rights for Boundary effective at the end of June. Over the past few months, there have been significant delays and a noticeable absence of content updates for Boundary. Despite our best efforts and support, the developer has been unable to deliver the necessary updates and improvements to keep the game thriving. This has led to growing concerns within our community, and we share your frustration. Unfortunately, the developer has made the difficult decision to cease all services for the game instead of continuing to run it in its current state. So, and Surgical Scalpels has a different take on it. In a post to Chinese social media site Bilibili, the studio says via machine translation, the unilateral decision of Skystone to stop operating Boundary is extremely sudden and unreasonable for the studio and players. We immediately negotiated with Skystone upon receiving the notice, but unfortunately we were unable to change Skystone's unilateral decision to stop operating Boundary. Well, that's how it works.
True, but I think this is an odd place to post this if this is their official statement, unless it was also posted elsewhere.
PC Gamer says that it was only on Bilibili. So everybody's pointing at everybody else. Unsurprisingly, the news has seen the game review bombed by its remaining players, many of whom are understandably aggrieved at the announcement. Some are demanding refunds, and the author says that they have some sympathy. Unfortunately, it's the risk of buying early access titles. Not all games, even those that seem to have successful launch and attract a big audience. But this is something where it's kind of like a Kickstarter. It isn't a store, but the expectation of performance is certainly there. I certainly have an expectation that games are going to complete if they are early access. They're getting, particularly if I'm paying for it.
Well, absolutely. I think that's a reasonable assumption on the buyer's part.
Well, I'm still waiting 8 years later for a product that I purchased on Kickstarter, and I still get updates. They say that they're going to ship it in July.
That's coming up soon. Maybe you can report here whether that happened.
I'm holding my breath. Oh, look, I'm dying. So I think at the end of the day here, it's a cautionary tale, but I don't think that it should stop people. Everybody should talk about it, and do their review. And if you make an educated decision on purchasing a game that's in early access, then you better enjoy whatever it is. But I think early access games need a demo, like a working demo, where you can get some functional interaction with the core of the game. And that would allow you to decide, yeah, I think that it's reasonable to invest even $25, particularly when at any given moment they can change the context of this so that everything is DLC, even though you bought into it early access. 7 Heavy says, no more early access games for me. You only ever get one first playthrough of any game. Yeah, and depending on the game, the early access kind of spoils it, like right out of the gate. A lot of survival crafting base builder games are early access, and you can play those, but the end game isn't there. So you never really know. Like Sons of the Forest didn't have the real true ending to it, and then later on it got added on, and it recontextualized what was going on. But yeah, I get it. 7 Heavy Steel. Yeah, and some games I'm like that too, but I like early access because I find out really quick if I'm interested in the game, but I want a demo. If you want me to invest, then give me something to base it off of. Just a video isn't good enough, because who knows what type of crap code you are spewing out, and then I pay it. But then you can sit there and go, well, I have 4 hours to do a refund. If I play the game longer than 4 hours, I don't get a refund.
Don't you think part of this is like depending on the stability of the studio? It's like we don't have enough money to get it going, but if we get enough people buying it, et cetera, et cetera. It's like a cyclical thing, because I think it's reasonable to get a demo, but I don't see financially that would necessarily happen unless they're mega studio.
Yeah, and that's exactly what early access is supposed to facilitate. 7 Heavy says, yeah, I wish I had waited until the full release for Sons of the Forest. Demos are great. More demos for sure, so we can get that taste of gameplay. Yeah, without having to rely on... Yeah, I mean, you know how people stress out about range anxiety for their cars? That's how it is when you're playing a game that has a 4-hour demo clock on it. Like if you buy it and you have to squeeze out as much like estimate, am I really going to like this game worth $60? No. Okay, I'm going to bounce and request a refund. And at one point I had done that often enough. Like 2 years ago, I did that often enough where one of the people said to me, hey, it's starting to look like you're using this just to test out games. And I said, yeah, no shit. That's exactly what the refund policy is supposed to be. If I don't like the game, I can request a refund. It's not about, you liking the game. It's about me as a customer liking the game. And if you don't give me a demo, then the only way I know how to get to test it out is to buy it and then decide. And you put the window in there. So yeah, I'm going to test out a game. Eventually, I just became a little bit more explicit about my purchases. And so they don't get as much juice from me anymore because I'm more constrained. And that's what this is all about. If people got to play this and the company actually stuck to their timeline and the producer stuck to their timeline and everybody remained invested and talking, then everybody would be happy. But if I get ghosted and then, what is it called? What's the name of the company?
Was it Skystone or Boundary?
Skystone. So Surgical Scalpels is the developer and Skystone is the producer. So the publisher. So the publisher is the one that goes, well, we're paying into this and we're facilitating marketing and and keeping you on the timeline so that our advertising and our investment doesn't go just to waste. Yeah, we write in our contracts, we're going to bounce if you don't stick to a timeline. Everybody that facilitates somebody else doing the work has a timeline, because for every dollar that doesn't get compensated, ultimately it's lost on the other side. And so it's not unheard of to just have a time-based end to the contract of non-performance. Okay, you're done. And we walk. So not surprised by this. And to sit there and go unilaterally, well, yeah, if I send you an email and you don't respond for 2 months, then I can unilaterally terminate the contract, particularly if it's explicitly written in the contract. So, all right, let's keep going. The next article is over in the WarCrafters channel. Be calmed at sea for over a decade. This piratical, that's a interesting word, piratical hack and slash game is releasing later this year. Who among us hasn't heard of the tale of Captain Blood, the seafaring scoundrel who had a steering wheel in his pants because it drove his nuts? According to the press release I'm looking at, that's not in the article. So there's an old joke about a pirate that goes into a bar and the bartender says, "Why do you have a steering wheel hanging out of your pants?" And the pirate says, "Arg, it drives me nuts." Anyway, was the most manly pirate captain ever to drink grog while romancing maidens across the Spanish Main? Well, presumably most of us, because the last time anyone saw this game was in 2010 before it disappeared and went into indefinite development hiatus.
Okay, that's interesting. And now, I mean, it could be entirely a new generation of people watching or this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 14 years since it was last seen. Wow. So last seen in 2010, Captain Blood has a new lease on a pirate's life. Lincoln Carpenter over at PCGamer.com put the article together. I don't even know what to say about this. So the trailer, here, I can play it.
My first question is, what happened?
Wow. Do you think this is 14-year-old graphics? Yeah, maybe. According to the press release that they're looking at, was the most manly pirate captain ever to drink grog. Maybe it got drunk and lost. Huh. So watching the announcement trailer, you can definitely feel the 2010 energy. It's a charming hack and slash glimpse of an earlier, simpler time where dudes in video games were still shaped with Todd McFarlane's proportions. Captain Blood himself looks like a kind of if Kratos was a pretty ponytailed pirate instead of a Spartan with a ghostly pallor, and he seems to wield cutlasses, flintlock pistols, and the occasional battle axe with a similar vigor. So let's see. Oh, that's all there is. That doesn't even give a hint as to what the hell happened. But you can wish list it now on Steam. Game looks like an exaggerated, stylized bent to it. There's a chunkiness to the sabers and pistols that feels like a real throwback to a time when Blizzard's WoW aesthetic was somewhere close to its peak influence. Usually, like, anything below the elbow was like massive in scale.
I didn't know Captain Blood was actually a film from the 1930s.
I did not know that. Captain Blood, huh? Was it a pirate film?
Yes.
Do you think that it's based off of that?
I don't know, but I actually looked up Captain Blood, and then I was surprised to find that.
Does the synopsis for the movie actually say that Captain Blood was hired to rescue the local magistrate's beautiful, buxom daughter?
Let's see.
More character designer. It doesn't say it. No. I'm sure that the hero has the noblest of intentions. There's more of this over at the article. You can watch the full video if you follow the link through ohmTown, or you just go over to pcgamer.com and do a search for pirate game not seen since 2010. Or Captain Blood. I'm sure that'll pop up. Let's keep going. So the next article is over in the WarCrafters channel over at ohmTown.com. Open world games that have no combat. So I've been looking for games that are chill, and like Aska is a game that everybody is playing right now, and 7 Days to Die is a game that these are like semi-open world games or open world games. Elden Ring, for instance, is another one. They just got an expansion, and it's massive, and for whatever reason, it's actually getting kind of review bombed. I'm not sure what happened there. And then there's Soul Mask, it's another one. Valheim is another one, but all of them have just this abundance of combat. And I'm kind of chill, I'm not interested right now in hack and slash, although I've done my time playing hack and slash games. So I've been looking for a game that is open world, kind of like Minecraft, where it's just massive. Not really. I mean, Minecraft is actually pretty massive, but you can build and build and build. But I like quests and stuff like that. So I'm really stuck. What am I actually looking for my forever game? Kind of like a forever home for a pet. I want a game that I can have an affinity for, that I'm playing all the time. It's my main. And My Little Pony Rainbow Adventure just doesn't attract the audience.
Doesn't do it. So what games have come close or looked like they had the potential but didn't?
I like survival crafting base building games. So I want the graphics that are in like Aska and Valheim, and I don't want them cartoony like Pal World. I want them more realistic, but I want to be first person if I choose. And I want to be able to build as high as I want in deformable land, so I can go mining and stuff like that. And I want to be able to be either full on MMO or small groups and everybody work together. So like Aska is co-op. So I want that kind of a thing, right? But I don't want to sit there and have to fight Valheim dwarves all the time. I'm walking through the forest and I'm just attacked relentlessly by mobs. Elden Ring is like that. 7 Days to Die is built around that idea. And I don't know. There has to be something that is like more peaceful. So that's why when this was submitted, I thought that it was really interesting that it got submitted today. I did not choose this other than me dragging it into this list because I didn't even see this until it was submitted. But the article is over at GameRant.com, and Ritwik Mitra, that's an awesome name, Ritwik. So it says puzzle-focused games like the Talos Principle 2 provide a challenging yet combat-free experience for players to enjoy. Open-world games don't always need combat to be engaging. Titles like Firewatch offer relaxing exploration without enemies. Some open-world games focus on educational elements like Assassin's Creed Odyssey's Discovery Tour mode, offering a combat-free exploration experience, which I own this game and I never played that. So they updated this in June 18th, 2024. And again, this is a weekly show. So Firewatch, a poignant walking simulator with open environments and a captivating narrative. Now, see, I want some combat. I just don't want it to be relentless, like every open world.
Right, like the focal point.
Yeah. So after completing the game, players can explore the world in a free roam mode that lets them relax and take in the sights. Basically, players take on the role of a fire lookout who interacts with a supervisor using a walkie-talkie, uncovering some tantalizing mysteries in the process. But I like base building, so I don't want to just stand on a hill and go, there it is. Talos Principle 2, a sequel to the philosophical puzzle game where players can roam around and solve puzzles at their behest. Puzzle adventure games I love. I'm going to be playing some in VR. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Mayoral duties. Assassin's Creed Discovery Tour mode. Number 4 is Alba, a wildlife adventure, but I'm not too into the cartoony side of things. So interacting with a complex array of fauna and raising awareness to ensure their survival. If I could probably put a list together of all of the games that I want elements from to make my perfect game. One of the most fun games that I've ever played was ArcAge. I'm hoping that Ashes of Creation is the new ArcAge, but without the wetting the bed and flaming out, and then getting bought by somebody and flaming out almost immediately at the same time, killing my account twice. Anyway, so yikes. I'm an early adopter in Ashes of Creation and have, I think, serious change invested in an account there. It's still not out. It's not even in an alpha that I'm qualified to play yet, but I'm supposed to be in the next alpha.
Well, but it's still coming, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Holding my breath. As soon as I get that thing from Kickstarter, I'll get this one too. So Astroneer, almost endless adventure, by the way. Astroneer, you can keep on building and building and building and building. So it says procedurally generated adventure game where players form structures and gather valuable resources. This is actually a pretty fun game, but again, it's kind of cartoony. Oh my goodness, this show's going to run so long. Sable is number 6. Need for Speed Unbound, which it's a fun game, and a lot of people do like role-playing adventures in Need for Speed. And then number 8 is Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, a walking simulator with an intriguing premise, and that premise is the result is games like Everybody's Gone to Rapture, an excellent video game where players have to explore a desolate settlement where its residents have seemingly vanished into thin air, and players experience the story in whatever order they see fit, with the execution of this narrative being pretty impressive. Walking simulators may have had a bad rep, but I mean, if you get a fun story out of it, the graphics are compelling, the story is even more compelling, people will play this kind of a game. So I've never played it. Outer Wilds, everybody really loves this game, actually. Players uncover the mystery behind a 22-minute time loop in a solar system. I won't say too much about it all. And then the Talos Principle. The philosophical puzzle game in open environments that scratches that Portal itch. Abandoned landscapes are quite intriguing, and fans will love the slow drip of the story as they solve numerous challenging puzzles. So that might be fun to play. I haven't played it yet, but Disco Elysium has
Wait a second, that was Talos Principle, right? The original.
Yeah. There was a further up was Talos Principle 2. And this is actually a quite extensive list, so I'm going to call it here and just usher you all on to go and check out the next the rest of these, but I'll end with Disco Elysium, an introspective CRPG with an amazing narrative, and I cannot state that more emphatically. The story here was phenomenal. I never even played the game. All I did was watch one streamer, Co-Carnage, play this just and like nonstop, kept on playing. It was absolutely amazing. The voice acting, the artwork, the story, all of it was amazing. So, but it had a weird ending to it, which not the game, but the company, and the end result was drama. But players control an amnesiac cop who is easily one of the greatest protagonists in gaming history, with the eccentric nature of his character and the unique nature of his psyche making this game quite engaging indeed. Yeah, the voice acting was spectacular. But that's it for this article. We'll kind of urge you to go on and read the rest of this. It goes on. There's quite a few more.
Yeah, that's a pretty good list.
Yeah. And I'll be going back to it too, because I'm looking for my forever game. And so far, the ones that I've like said, oh yeah, this is going to be it, No, they fall apart. So the next article is Ace Attorney Investigations Collection launches for Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC worldwide on September 6th. The biggest take from the new release is the new official Western localization for the second entry. So Capcom has confirmed, Kite Stenbuck put this article together over at rpgsite.net. I love role-playing games. I wish I could do more of it, but I've been told that Ace Attorney Investigations is supposed to be pretty awesome. I've never played any of them, but I'm more than happy to encourage other people to check these out and then come and talk with me about them. If they've already played them, then come and talk with me about it here in ohmTown. That would be awesome. So the compilation will feature both entries in the investigation spin-offs starring the prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. The confirmation of this release is huge since it means that we finally get to see an official English localization for the second game, which shall now be known in English as Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Gambit. So Ace Attorney Investigations. Dun dun dun. Let's see here. Iconic crime scene examinations and witness confrontations return with new and improved features. And for the first time ever, Ace Attorney Investigations 2 will be available in the West.
And this sounds like something different.
Yeah. So we'll have to check it out. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Tales of the Shire is a cozy village sim where you can't run, but you can skip. Set somewhere between the end of The Hobbit, but before it all kicked off in Lord of the Rings, Tales of the Shire sees you settling into Bywater, which is different than what I drank at a SCA gathering where we called it bog water, and I think everybody poisoned themselves from the distillation.
Oh, no.
Helping fellow villagers achieve their tasks and dreams. That involves fishing, farming vegetables, and cooking up a storm to improve your relationships and unlock new recipes and who knows what else. Tales of the Shire. Matt Smith over at Engadget.com put the article together. I don't know. Anything Tolkien.
I like the graphics, right?
Yeah, it seems like it might be fun. We'll have to take a look at it. This is kind of funny. It says, while ignoring Gollum's misadventures, another game, Tales of the Shire, offers a gentler, low-stakes way to play in the universe of Bagginses and Lembas Bread and Gandalf. One of the Gandalfs, the gray or white or something like that.
Right, sure. Pick one.
Yep. He's Schrodinger's wizard. You never know which one's going to show up. And why didn't the giant eagles just fly straight over to the mountain? Right? Drop them off, let them throw the ring in.
That would kind of eliminate a lot of the movie.
Whatever. It's just like Indiana Jones, where the Nazis still open the Ark. Everybody dies, except for them two. And it seals itself back up. Didn't need to do a damn thing.
And it's like, what was that about?
That's right. Why did we sit here for this movie? Well, it was fun to watch, but still. The game's simple but effective home decoration system allows you to move a single book or an entire table and everything on it. In fact, the whole Tales of the Shire seems designed as a gentle introduction, cozy gardening, game mechanics, with its cooking and general good neighborly activities. A cute system of bluebirds helps you navigate the snug but packed hamlet. If it's not a village, it's a hamlet, right? That's what the author is saying. And when you run, you don't run, you skip briskly.
Well, I mean, you can only do those kind of things if you're in Tolkien's world.
All right. Well, I'm going to put this on the list. It just seems, I haven't played it, so it seems like it might be chill, and maybe between more violent games, I'll play this too.
Will you be possibly doing this live stream?
Yeah, of course. If I play it, then yeah, sure. Pretty cool. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But go and check it out. Tales of the Shire will be released later this year for PC, Nintendo Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. Basically, what I want is Aska or Soul Mask. Just pretty much any of that style of games where it's more realistic, but I want it to be more like Animal Crossing, like a complex crafting and building game, but chill.
But
Co-op.
chill and cozy.
What the heck just happened? Okay. Anyway, or Stardew Valley. Yeah. Yeah.
A glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Got it. So I'll have to check it out. I don't know if there's a demo. In fact, you know what? Oh, we're already running late, so let me check it out. Tales of the Shire. Oh yeah, look at that. It's right there. Add to your wish list. All right. There's no demo. This person mentioned a demo that says my demo was relaxing if predictable. Jaunt around the Shire. Predictable? There's nothing predictable about the Shire. No, there's everything predictable about the Shire. It's nothing but predictable in the Shire. You don't want... It's like going to the doctor. You do not want to be fascinating. You don't want to be interesting. You don't want to be...
Boring is good.
Boring is good. The Shire, boring is good. If anybody brings up a ring, you just, nope. Don't know what you're talking about. Move on. We're all full up on crazy here. Bye-bye. Let's go to the next article. This one will be quick. WarCrafters is where it's housed, but the source is actually PC Gamer. Early access MMO Pax Dei has launched without its most exciting feature, so it needs to convince players to stick around. But everything that I've seen about this game, basically, it's kind of like Minecraft. There's nothing there. There's no quest there. There's default.
Right. There's no structure to it.
Yeah. There's really nothing yet. But the bones are there. It has what seems to be a somewhat standard build progression. But I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off. Having played some of the alpha, according to the author, not me, whatever. Okay. Anyway, having played some of the alpha, the author says they knew what to expect when they hopped into Pax Dei's early access build yesterday, but it was still a wee bit disappointed because they know what the developer Mainframe Industries is planning, and they desperately want to play that version of the game. And right now it's a multiplayer survival deal, but the team's goal is to transform it into a social MMO full of competing kingdoms where players run everything from businesses to religions, which sounds great. And that is close to what Ashes of Creation are doing, except that it's much more competitive based.
But it is early access, and that concerns me.
Yeah, because if you come out of the gate early access, but you have a robust framework that's teasing of it already, and you build onto it consistently and constantly, then the investment is legit. I have no problem buying early access if I see movement. But what I saw when I was watching other people play this was them in also saying, well, it's all like default graphics and nothing special. So what the heck is this? So I'm surprised that it seems to be well received, except now people are going, what the hell is really going on with this thing? Because I don't think that there's enough there to warrant, unless, well, I don't know. Maybe you like just using kind of placeholder items and playing a game that is going to get reset when it actually launches. I don't know. So the article is over at pcgamer.com by Fraser Brown, or Fraser Brown. Do you think it's Fraser or Fraser? I don't know.
I think it is Fraser.
Okay. So at the moment, it's fairly generic survival crafting game, but it could become so much more. And yeah, to me, it seems like it is Minecraft without the deformable world. you can't just take a pickaxe and start digging into the ground. There are nodes that you mine, which like a lot of these games remind me of ArcAge, without the Korean MMO feel to it. Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. So let's see what they say here. The version that exists now is a logical starting point. Before players can run their own societies and develop an economy, they need to build homes and craft goods. It's like a game called Eco, but higher resolution. Eco was very blocky, and it was all about how if you did the wrong things, you would basically, and it always happened, you would destroy the world. But yeah, you have to build up to where there's societal foundations and law enforcement and all of that kind of stuff. In Eco, it's like that again. But it's a social MMO full of competing kingdoms where players run everything from businesses to religion. But you have to get there, and the framework has to actually be there. What's neat about this game is that you can see forever. And so if somebody plops down a campfire to build their base, you actually see it, and smoke is coming off of it, and it looks lived in as long as there's a lot of people there. I saw people running around and never seeing another human being for a considerable amount of time. So it was like a running and walking simulator. But I have hope, but I'm not going to pay for any of this until I see a little bit more movement. They say for now, this is going to be enough for some players. Building and collaboration is its own reward. And to be clear, they've genuinely been having quite a bit of fun, even as someone who's burned out on survival games. The crafting system is labor intensive, but it's robust, and they've yet to hit a point where they lose their momentum, and there's always something to do to create. And the massively multiplayer side of things, even without a lot of traditional MMO trappings, looms large. It has the feel of ArcAge to me, without all of the infrastructure already being there. So as long as they keep moving, I will probably end up getting Pax Dei. Seems like fun.
Well, hopefully it can be your forever game.
We'll see. So the next article is over in Technology Today. 14 unusual video games to discover in 2024. They picked through the best of the summer showcases to find interesting games to look out for. I'm going to have to move through these last two pretty quick. Doink. The article is over at theguardian.com, and it's put together by Keith Stewart and Keza McDonald. Okay, so Once Human came out. It was beta, and it had a bunch of beta runs, and then came out early access, and it's kind of a surreal. They mention Lovecraftian monsters, and that's exactly what it is. There's all of these really weird monsters, and you're referred to as a what is it called? They call it something like a moth, but you're not a moth. What in the world? So it says it's a huge world crammed with grotesque Lovecraftian monsters, and you have to figure out something. But I never really got into it, and I never ended up buying the game. It says that it's July 9th, but if I recall correctly, you can buy it right now. Hold on a second. So it says free. Planned release is July 9th, but there are people that are playing it right now, as far as I recall. Huh. Maybe it was another test. So Flintlock Siege of Dawn is coming out July 18th. Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is coming out July 19th. This has like larger than life combat actions throughout it. When I was younger, I created, along with some friends, a role-playing game that used that type of, like, when you jump, you don't, it's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where when you jump, you jump 30 feet in the air.
Right, exactly. It's like martial arts with magic or fantasy.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. They say they've never seen anything quite like this. Forthcoming game from Capcom. You control a warrior protecting a princess as she slowly dances her way through monster-infested Japanese mountain scenes, purifying her surroundings as you go. But all of the combat is like larger than life. 780, 7 Heavy Steel says, Shambara? What? Did I miss something?
Maybe it's a connection to another game or movie?
I might be mispronouncing it, or it's not Canberra. Yeah, that's the fighting style this game is referring to. Oh, really? This? Really? Hold on a second. I'm really curious about this. Oh, sword fighting. Okay. That's what it means. Cinematic sword fighting. Interesting. Yeah, it was really cool to watch the demo for this. And then a ranger or role-playing puzzling game, a role-puzzling adventure. This is the one where you actually slide. Yeah. A ranger, a role-puzzling adventure. And if you've ever played with one of those, oh yeah, 7 Heavy just said, yeah, that's the fighting style this game is referring to. And is it? It's not Kambara. Is it Shambara? Because I don't. Anyway, is a Japanese term for adapting the fighting arts to film. Yeah, it's all larger than life, and it looks really cool. And I grew up with like martial arts movies when I was young, back when Bruce Lee was around and a movie star. So this, if you've ever had one of those little plastic puzzle sliders to get the thing
right, you have to
together,
move the pieces around.
That's how this is. And it's a pretty neat idea. Steam World Heist 2. I'll just move pretty quick through these. Black Myth Wukong. The graphics in this are spectacular like this, and I hope that they're not just cinematics like this, that the actual game is as fantastic as the videos that I've seen of this. Phoenix Springs, UFO 50, Slitterhead was a weird one. Wonder Stop, Critter Cafe, Neva, which kept saying Neva, if I remember it right. Unknown 9 Awakening, Fear of the Spotlight. Yeah, some of these just aren't really my style, but I'm happy to promote them. And I really liked the game showcases to show off all of the different creative works that are out there. It's a pretty broad swath. So the last article for tonight is over in the WarCrafters channel. Best RPGs created by first-time developers, and we'll just jump right on into this. This is over at GameRant.com. Mitra is the author again. And they say Undertale, which, if I recall correctly, hold on one second here. Something's going on with Undertale. Dun, dun, dun. I thought that there was something else going on with Undertale, but it's not showing up on Steam. But I'm not doing a search. I don't know. I thought that there was something going on with Undertale. Undertale was a smash hit that fans fell in love with, courtesy of its charming narrative. The game flips the RPG script to make players think about their actions instead of just killing everything in sight. With 3 routes and some incredible lore surrounding the nature of Undertale's world, it's easy to see why fans loved this anti-RPG. Players fell in love with the fleshed out and engaging characters in this one-of-a-kind game, which propelled its novice developer to superstardom. So go and get that. I think that it is actually on Steam.
There's an update coming, but it's going to take a while. That's basically what I can find in the recent news.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's got an overwhelmingly positive rating, 204,282 reviews. There's probably no negative ratings. Number 4 is Mother. Shigesato Ito's first video game broke boundaries for JRPGs. This is back in 1989. The game sowed the seed for the anti-JRPG foundation and would inspire many developers in the following years. I guess it must be years, and that's a typo. The man at the helm of the project, Shigesato Ito, is a fascinating person whose philosophical ideals can be seen in the unique RPGs. Themes of family and friendship are rife in this title, and both this game and Earthbound are ahead of their time. Go and check that out. I don't know if that's... I wonder if Mother is in... It is. Is it the same? No, it is not. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's not listed as in Steam.
Oh, it's a Nintendo thing. So it's only going to be in Nintendo. Like everything, when it's like produced by Nintendo, you might as well just call it that. It's not going to be on PC. Not for a long time, at least. If ever. The Witcher. Don't really need to say much about The Witcher. Omori. Omokat's psychological horror RPG. It's not a game for the faint of heart and features some disturbing imagery, but players who give this game a shot won't regret it in the slightest. There aren't many games out there with such an impactful storytelling. Omori's cheerful veneer hides a sinister secret that players must fight to uncover. And then once again, Disco Elysium. Absolutely stunning game to watch other people play. I probably wouldn't have the patience to go through this game on my own, but watching it play was kind of like an audiobook, and your decisions impact the story as you go. So it was absolutely amazing. But again, I really wish that the way that ZAUM's end was met with Disco Elysium was not the... I don't know how to put it, but yeah. So while the departures of key personnel at ZAUM can be saddening to witness, this shouldn't take away from what the studio achieved. And it was kind of drama. But it means that Disco Elysium will stay forever. That is the de facto best way to tell a story. The art was compelling. The voice was compelling. The story was compelling. The world building is fantastic. They're saying everything that I would say. It was absolutely awesome to watch, let alone play. Again, I wouldn't have the patience to do it. But anyway, that's it for tonight, folks. We are done. So I'm going to Disco Elysium my way all the way back to the front page. And doggone it, where is it? Oh, yeah, it's always over here. And refresh the screen. Who knows? There might be some new articles. Yeah, there are like 6 fun horror games where you are overpowered. Dun, dun, dun. That's it, folks. Thanks for hanging out for another WarCrafters episode. Be sure, well, I'm going to say goodnight, and then the sentient AI from the future can say whatever they want to say. What are you programming yourself to say?
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Be sure to follow us. We're here on Twitch and ohmTown and podcasts and
YouTube.
TikTok and Patreon.
And YouTube. And
I think I said YouTube, but maybe not.
And Twitch and YouTube and Twitch. Be sure to follow us everywhere.
Good
Leave
night.
a 5-star review everywhere. Like and subscribe. You have to like us over on YouTube. That's the only way that we're going to get discovered. But we're having fun doing the show. So come back, hang out. See you soon. Thanks everybody in chat over on Twitch and YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Bye-bye. I need to play some... Oh, no. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hey, Brill. You're rating me with 71 people. Welcome to the show. Right at the end of the show. Hello. Yeah, we're about to end. But yeah, let me introduce myself, I suppose. Y'all can stick around if you want. Quick recap. I am Marawatt. I run ohmTown.com. We aggregate news from around the world into 6 main channels and 50 channels underneath that. There are 6 main categories and 50 channels underneath that. This show, WarCrafters, focuses on FPS, RTS, and RPG games. But we talk about 10 articles. So like I talked about the best games like World of Warcraft today and RPGs as prequels. But our daily show, which is now named Non Sequitur News, takes 10 articles from the entirety of ohmTown.com, which, well, it's risky for me to click that front page because sometimes there's political stuff in there. But we don't talk about the political stuff here in ohmTown. So I am Marawatt, and the sentient AI from the future right there. You want to say anything?
Good evening.
Whenever the sentient AI is chatting, the visualizer
Like
moves.
here.
Denotes the amount of computational power that's being used for the interaction. I've been doing this for the last 2.5 years, talking about news. We've expanded to 7 podcasts and 7 shows on the weekends primarily. One is a daily show called Non Sequitur News. Ta-da! Be sure to follow us here. You'll be told when we launch the show. It's typically Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then on the weekends at 5 p.m. we run until, well, right now, East Coast, 5 p.m. on the East Coast until whenever we finish. But it's typically around 10:30. Ta-da! All right, folks. Unfortunately, I have mayoral activities that I must attend to, meetings and paperwork and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much. Where would you like me to send you? Do you have anybody in particular? I can raid. Let's see, who can I raid? Should I send you all over to Justice? How about I do that? Let's see. Yeah, Justice is playing. Oh, is Witty on? Let's see. Yeah, Witty is on. Okay. There we go. Thanks for everybody coming by. I really do appreciate your patience with this. Be sure to follow us so that you are informed when we go live again. All right. See y'all later. Take care, everybody.